Hey everyone, this is Cindy at an open door. It's August 28th. This is the hour we call sharing the word. We're currently working with Divine Union, channel text through Paul Selig, and as is or is our current habit, we we're going to start with a clip. So here we go.
We see you before us, comprehending yourselves in the forms that you have utilized to know your reality. As the form you have taken begins to acclimate to the higher field, the lower bodies, or if you wish, the aspects of self that have accrued experiential density, must resolve. And by this we simply mean that what has been held in darkness within the body must be moved. Now, this may include your ideas of things that are held in form identified as pain, or as miasma, or as something that you would wish to fix. But also understand that much of what is held in the body is the result of past thought, and the agreement to separation, which you have all accrued vast evidence for, claims the entire body at a level of density that must be countered. Now, you do understand that when you pour clean water into a glass with silt that has accumulated at the bottom, the silt will rise to the surface, and one may experience the release of the silt as it rises and the glass begins to overflow. And you do understand that in time, the water continuing to pour into the glass will be clear, where what has been moved to the surface has been released. And do understand that in this instruction there are aspects of self that has utilized separation as protection, or who demand separation to be their stead, or who would require separation to continue in a belief that it is a requirement for being. These aspects of self will in some ways confound the light or seek to counteract the teaching. In fact, the divine self or the true self cannot be deterred, and once it is activated in the claim, I have come, it will announce itself at the cost of all things. All things, all things, all things, used in the same manner. Now, to understand that the shift that the body undertakes when one begins to accrue evidence of the divine is vast and is far more than you may imagine, would be to understand that what you have held in shadow, conforming now to the light that would shine upon it, may seek to hide, may seek to refuge in the shadows that it has claimed as itself. But do understand this, the determination that the monad has, the divine self has, to resurrect in form will come at the cost of the old. Now, the challenges one may face in the body as one begins this passage are several. You may actually feel the self feeling deterred, or feel the self not wishing to accommodate the energy, and you may always, always, always say, thank you, no. You may always, always say, perhaps another day, perhaps another hour, perhaps another lifetime, if you wish. The monad, in its action to reclaim all aspects, will still be understood through the will itself, who can say, later, please, respite, please, I need time to shift first, please. He interrupts the teaching, but isn't it true that you have said that once the claim is made, I have come, the action of the monad will not be deterred? Indeed, that is accurate, and it continues to be the case. But the monad is operating outside of your idea of personal time and space. You do understand this, that the template of the divine is actually present in multiple realities in simultaneity. understand what this means. There is a version of you operating in deep density here in the common field, but there are other versions of self that operate beyond the linearity of space and time as you utilize space and time. And there are aspects of self that are completely realized and fulfilled. By lifting you to the upper room, we are simply claiming you in identification with the aspect of self that has already claimed itself there. So in fact, all that is occurring is the airplane that you may understand yourself as is lifting into itself at the higher level, moving beyond the old density that it has known itself through. And as this occurs, everything within that plane needs to be able to be supported at the new height, the new level of tonal accord or frequency that the vehicle itself has expanded to. Now, we say this for the man in the chair. This is not a teaching for the text. This is for those in the room, that they may have an understanding of the process that they are undergoing. But each one must also understand that the level of intonation that you can conduct, the level of vibration that you can hold, is under the auspices of the soul and what the soul can agree to. When you make the claim that you're only open and receptive to that which is for your highest good in the perfect amounts needed, you are actually being instructed to understand that although the drink may be lovely to the taste, you cannot drink too much of it at one time without becoming sick. And to understand that the internal monitor that you have supports you in this through decree or intention is useful. The safety of this instruction is actually beyond what you think. The safety of this instruction is instilled in the teaching itself, because nothing can be accrued in evidence of fear in the upper room unless a human being decides that these are lessons he or she requires to learn through. So we say this to each of you. The instruction you will be receiving in the coming days will be acclimating you to a level of tone beyond what you have experienced thus far. And whilst the physical body may have some adjustments to make, nobody is left behind, and also nobody is taken to a level of identification or vibration that he or she cannot accrue and align to in an awareness of self. Now, what that means is, even though you are light and that is what you are, we do not displace identity. Identity is reclaimed in the upper room. It is not abandoned.
Hmm. Anybody have any thoughts, or it's the second time we've heard that? Yeah. I have to admit to sometimes I feel a little bit confused about what this bodily energetic shift is supposed to be. I don't know. I don't know. If anybody knows, let me know. If anybody has any ideas.
I've
I
been living
think
in the
maybe,
question.
sorry.
I've been living in the question. I accept that from the sense of a separate self, there's no way for me to know. And I've just been practicing being in agreement to what's outside the known.
Thank you. That's helpful. Yep.
And I think maybe as these individual expressions of being, that there's no one way of saying this is what it is and this is what it feels like, because it's a very in this individuated state, a very individualized experience. So I'm kind of with Cindy. The things that are noticed, I just get really, really curious because of my new motto is curiosity over fear, to choose curiosity first. And so
Mhm.
I just get really curious as I'm noticing things, as they're hitting me in my face and taking my breath away, and even as they're just whispering in my ear.
Okay. Great. All right. Um,
I find it very easy for me to trust Helen Hamilton And it's so easy for me just to fall back into I don't know.
Yeah.
And see,
Yeah.
that's the thing about curiosity. It's not curiosity to prove something that I believe or think I already know, but it's that curiosity into the void of what is possible, of all that's possible. There's nothing to bat away in that level of curiosity. There's only the being and the seeing.
Yeah. There's a phrase that I really love, expecting nothing, open to anything. It's great. It's great. Great attitude. Sandra. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Sandra.
Good morning. I was, that's such a great question. I was struck yesterday as I was listening to Jim George about how he was going into all this detail about evolution and how the humans keep adjusting their maps. They keep coming up with new maps. And then at one point, he said, the map is not the thing. And Cindy has said that before. But then he said, stop the maps. And that goes along right with what everybody's saying. It's like we think because we've read so much and listened to so many people, but we're just making new maps. And we're trying to make everything fit into the newer maps. And the guides are kind of saying that too when they're saying you're acclimating to a higher level, acclimating. I think they're saying the same thing. But then when he said stop the maps, that just, yeah, I thought, yes. Why are you trying to make this, what somebody's saying here, fit into this over here?
Yeah,
So,
because we love our patterns.
yes, and that's the way our brain works. So, yeah, just what Lonnie just said, just be open. And when I sit quietly and I drop all of it, trying to understand, trying to know, it feels simpler and clearer at the same time.
Mhm. Yeah, thank you. Richard, good morning.
Morning, everyone. Yeah, what I really enjoyed about this last leopard, um, simultaneous experiences and different frequencies or dimensions or densities. For example, what I find I do not know comes to mind all the time because take, for example, a law of one. The law of one says there are eight densities, and we were in the third density. Our experience as the body mind is in the third density. And what I'm hearing from the guides and other teachers is all the densities are happening at the same time. And you're experiencing only one of the densities at the present moment. But you're actually experiencing all eight of them.
Yep.
But what I find interesting, I somehow have chosen to limit my experience to this density. I don't understand why I'm doing that, why I'm not experiencing being the light rather than being the body. And so I find it very interesting that it's all happening now, right now. But my experience is I'm really aware primarily of the body mind activity going on at this level, but I'm actually doing all eight levels simultaneously. So when I talk about taking this a moment, mode at an upper room, it's like Well, you're already doing all eight of them, so why not be full and do what all eight of them will want? What you're really doing, but I think the finite mind is impossible to understand all that. I mean, if I did it, I'm having enough trouble with this density. I'm to be aware of eight entities happening at the same moment. I think I go insane. I don't know that it really encapsulated. I know nothing because I know only the present moment. That's all I know. So, love us all.
Thank you. I had a dream last night that I was in another body. And I knew that I was in another body. And I went to the mirror and it was a completely different woman. I think it was a Middle Eastern body, but I'm not even sure. And I said, "That's not my body." But okay, I guess this is just another experience. It was very real. And I said, I didn't fight it. I was like, well, all right, I guess this is what's happening now. I've never dreamt something like that before. So who knows? As we
I
all,
mean, and what if it wasn't a dream? What if it was not another realm of life? We call this illusion a dream, and
oh,
we
I'm
call it
I'm
life.
totally open to that, Lonnie.
So what if?
Yeah, I, it was real for me in the dream. Yeah.
And and my immediate reaction is, oh man, what a gift to yourself.
Mm.
As much as I struggle with being a separate, oh, that's what it's like. Oh, wow, I'm going to remember this. That makes it a lot easier. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yeah. I concur with you both. Yeah. Ah, okay. Who wants to read this morning? Cindy, Lonnie. Okay, I will read, and then I'm just going to choose people to read because I got the power. You can always say no. All right, we're at the top of page 81 in that first paragraph, starting with he interrupts the teaching. Cindy's first.
He interrupts the teaching. Well, why not just for a moment? Many people have momentary flashes of the divine, and then we feel despondent when they go away. Generally, those are gifts or intercessions. When you have an intercession, you can imagine the hand of God or the universe or spirit breaking the veils that you could not to alter a trajectory that is necessary. Paul, you have had several. Most people have had several, although they couldn't think of it that way. It's not circumstantial. It's the guides that support you, the divine that is all things claiming you beyond the system of agreement that might have caused you great harm, or a choice that could have been made that would have been detrimental to many. The idea of a piercing experience and the fact that it exists is actually very useful. It implies a veil that can be pierced. And what is a veil but an illusion of separation that you have agreed to? So we remove the veil in some ways so that your participation in a landscape is completely altered while maintaining an identity at a level that is required for you to operate well. What is the purpose of a cosmic experience when you burn the home down because you forgot you were making dinner? What is the benefit of a religious experience when it makes you mad? Here is the use of experience in this kind of way. It offers you a potential and a remembrance of the divine self that the personality structure had opposed or been in denial of. When you have these experiences, they generally invite you to a new experience. They show you what can be so, how they can be so, and they claim you in a new potential. We claim our students in a new potential so that they may choose. But the experience we offer in vibration is indeed a piercing of a veil, or indeed, better said, a lifting or tearing of it. When the veil is no longer present, that which exists on the other side is indeed accessible. But understand that what exists on the other side is not bound by the same rules that you utilize while in physical form. On what you call the other side, time is not present as you think. It is this moment, that moment, and thought is creative at a level that is not hindered by the density of the earth plane. Your realization of the monad is actually the way that you begin to access this. And I'd just like to say that when I go for enlightenment intensives, the diet intensives, the master has said in a way that I accept that when we have these experiences, I like this idea, the veil dropping, that feels very much in alignment to the experiences I've had, that it's important that we talk about them, that we share them, um, because once we speak them out loud, one of the things that happens is that our egoic nature has a harder time dismissing them. They become more concretized in our experience of life. And also because it provides an opening, it gives so-called others um, information that is sort of like the 5-minute mile. You know, I here's a human being that's had this experience. It's possible. And once we prove that it's possible to the human mind, more human minds are able to pierce the veil and have those experiences as well. So that's what I have to say about that. Thank you.
That's partly why I am so intrigued by near-death experiences. I have a question about the last sentence. Your realization of the monad is actually the way you begin to access this. I wonder if anyone wants to take that sentence and explain it. What's meant by your realization of the monad?
Well, I can tell you how it's alive in me. And there's a lot of different words. But for me, making it real, realization, making it real, this understanding that God is, this understanding that regardless of the experience that I'm okay, that I've never left my source, to me, that's all the monad. This the part of me that knows beyond this idea of separation, bringing that into reality, into a realized state, gives me, Cindy, something to tether to in those moments when I feel separate.
Mm-hmm.
And so more and more, I often hear myself saying, logically, I can no longer accept separation as a truth. It just doesn't even make any sense. I've had too many of these experiences and recognitions, and so I am more and more bringing into a realized state the understanding that the monad is available whenever I choose to access it. And the more I do that, the more it becomes realized, the more Cynthia's experience changes. So that's how it's working here.
Okay. John.
Yeah, I'd like to jump in on that because really what Cindy was saying is, about, or what I heard on the guys, like just to express it is a big deal. Just to have the opportunity to express it out loud. So that's the reason that I put my hand up. And for me, I'd like to offer you the idea. Actually, this is this is this question that you're sitting on quite a bit, Amy, because I've heard you ask it at least one more time. So for me, the realization is the knowing, and knowing is the realization. So how do I know? How do I know that I'm beginning to access this monad experience? Well, I'll tell you this. I'm coming back from Costco with a big cart, and a lady sees me, and she comes on over to help me put the stuff in my car. I just out of my mouth, I just said to her, "Oh, God sent you." I don't know what made me say that, but I realized right away now I'm being given help right here in this moment. It's a monad. It's a realization of the monad showing up in my life. And then at the end of the day, this is a few days ago. At the end of the day, I was just doing some monitoring of my day, and I just had to sit back, Amy, in absolute awe how I had been supported that day, and with deep gratitude, with the support of the monad in that my daily activities that day. So for me to just to express that, it amplifies it for me, and I hope that it may offer you some I don't know, some ideas that you might be able to incorporate in your knowing and your realization of the monad in the way that you access this and that might solve some of your plumbing problems on your island. I don't know.
I actually have a very solid understanding of it. And I really appreciate your your experience, John. Mine is a little bit different. But I really appreciate your share.
How come you're asking this question all the time?
Because I think sometimes we help each other to understand, not through telling people what the truth is, but through asking questions and allowing them to explore for themselves. And so it's really that's why I'm asking.
Thank you. So I thought it's a rhetorical question then.
It's a genuine question. Um, I wouldn't say it's rhetorical, but it's genuine. It's genuine, and I am very interested in what people have to say.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. And I'm happy to share what my experience is too. I'm not just here, asking. I'm happy to share my experience, but actually the truth is I already know what it is, so I'm much more interested in what other people's experience is. And I really am, because when we share, it's a way of it's what the course says, when you teach, you learn. And so when I hear you share your experience about the monad, I know that is solidifying for you your knowing. And I love that. Cindy and then Lonnie and then William. Thanks again, John.
I just want to join in something that John just said. I take walks early in the morning, and it's a very Truman Show like space in my early morning walks, especially that I run across the same people all the time, and there aren't too many of them. And one of them is this man. His name is well, it's Father Earl King. He's the Episcopal priest who I went through my confirmation studies with, and I knew who he was, retired priest, and I expected he didn't know who I was, and I respected his anonymity. And day after day, often once, sometimes twice, it would just be good morning, have a great day, without acknowledging each other. And this morning and yesterday, the thought arose, I wonder when we're going to stop and talk, type of thing. Like, what does God have in store for this? And this morning, it got to be a joke. It was like a crisscrossing three times our walk intersected. How does that even happen, right? And the third time we both stopped and we walked together for a while, and I was like, and I was able to say, he said I am, and I said I know who you are. I sat in your office and went through confirmation with you as an adult, and we had a nice conversation. And I got to learn. I knew was a walker, but he walks 2.5 miles early every day because his wife's in a walker, and he doesn't want to be too far in case she falls, and different things. But there was this sense. I literally said, well, I guess God wants us to talk now. And I just smiled. So um, it was fun. Three times our path intersected this morning. And it might have been just to stop and talk and connect. So that's all I wanted to share. John had said, God sent you. And I felt that this morning. So yeah, God really does do things like that, right? The electromagnetic field.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Lonnie,
Morning, family.
good morning.
It was something Cindy said in the first part, the first time she shared about making something real. That always sparks in my system. That word "real" is always it's such a relative thing. And so in the sitting with what in answering or responding, rather, not even answering but responding, I'm wondering if, and I'm truly curious and wanting to walk it out and pay attention. I'm wondering if it's that realization of the monad is when it goes from being here and that thought process and something to do or search for or seek, and moves into the being and into the interaction and being that occurs and the recognition of it as it moves through the being. So I'm asking the question, but I'm asking it internally more so than externally, because my experience of it is not here. It's when something happens and I feel that energy flow through here. Thanks.
Thank you. William.
I'm observing my shadow. And what it looks like is that that's my shadow. And then I look over here and I see your shadow. But it's like I learn when you talk about your shadow because it helps me. Oh, I get to see my shadow a little bit clearer. But you know what? I don't need someone telling me about the shadow and what I need to do to keep removing it. Because when the light comes, it, my shadow changes and, oh, okay, that's where it's going. And like, for instance, just as when I read the Reality Check by Helen Hamilton, I ended up felt like I had nothing to stand on. It was such a empty point of nothingness. not only don't know, it just everything got wiped out. My shadow, almost like my shadow. Where is it? I couldn't even find my shadow. I had nothing. Oh my goodness. But I hung in there because I don't know why, but I go to the I'm here now. I'm here now. That's about all I can do when I get so lost, so scared. I'm here now. And when I hear other people share, it gives me whatever it is. I feel more connected. At least the shadows knows where I am. It doesn't leave me too. Okay. And then I stop and just be. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, William. That's tangential to my experience is in deep meditations of giving up everything I think I am and really going through in meditation every layer I can find. And it could be thought, it could be bodily sensation, it could be emotion, but giving all of it up to the open, empty, all that is. I can't even, there's no name for it, but just giving, allowing it all to arise in the awareness that I am and giving it up, watching it come up and watching it be released. And the only thing that this does is be the witness of what is coming up and be the witness of it going. And then experiencing as more and more is set aside and, or not set aside, is given away. The more of this little self that is given away as it arises, the emptier and fuller that space becomes. And that's to me touching the face of the monad. That's emptying out so the monad can come in. And whatever comes up is the monad, because I'm not doing any of it. And so I know that that is the space we all share, because all of us, when we let go of everything, we all arrive in that same space. And so the practice is staying as or returning as giving up as often during the day as is possible, just giving up whatever is happening into whatever all that is and being the space and just being that. So that's my experience of the monad or of the realization. Sandra, good morning again.
Thank you for that. All of these are so beautiful. And I love what Lonnie said earlier about it being individuated. So perfect for each of us. For me, the realization is like the guides said on the previous page, they're like gifts or intercessions that alter a trajectory, and the realizations that come are like flashes of insight that allow me to see everything differently than I saw it before. And it's a knowingness that is not in my head. It's not, I figured it out. I didn't figure it out at all. The flash of insight came from beyond the mind, and it carries with it this full body experience of light and radiance, I guess is the word I would use. It's a beautiful thing. And yes, that realization does change the way, like for you, you go into a meditation. And for me, I'm a little different. I just walk with awareness through whatever I'm walking through. And it's just,
That's what I do.
yeah. And it's
Yeah.
so indescribable. So I'm not going to try.
Yeah. Yeah, I arrived at that place through meditation, but the meditation then becomes ongoing. You're always in the meditation, always, never not in the meditation, because you're never not, you're 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 never not the love that you are, to use Richard's language, right?
And meditation doesn't always look like sitting down and being in a stance and being quiet.
Not at
Charlotte
all.
Joko Beck invited years ago in one of her texts to walk through the day, and every opening stand in that moment of meditation.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think this next paragraph is going to give us a little bit more insight into what is meant by it. And Lonnie's going to read this page up until the top of page 83. I've never
Oh.
seen you with your glasses on, Lonnie.
Well, I have corrected vision, but I still need reading glasses, so. But until 5 years ago, I wore very, very thick glasses all the time.
Ah, cool.
Now, this is not about psychic ability. It is about innate ability. And when you stop thinking of ability as special or glamorous, it can become what it is, a simple amplification of the senses from one by one who has moved beyond the dense field and has access to what exists beyond it. I know myself in union would be a simple claim. But everyone will say, well, I don't. But please remember, the aspect of you that does know is the one who claims it. What is true is always true. When you understand that the illusion of time is a concretized state, as when you understand that the illusion of time in a concretized state holds things in form, you will understand the value of it. What does that mean, he asks. Well, it's useful to know how long it takes to build a house or where to find the materials needed so you can plan to move in and have shelter before the storms come. But understand that the idea of the storm, the idea of the house, are all born in a common field of how things should be and what things should be. And because you live in time and you know when the storms come, it is best to be prepared and have your shelter ready. Discernment over fear. When you move beyond time into the ever present now, you don't ignore the mandates of time as they have been claimed in useful ways in the common field. But you are not bound by them as you have been. When the dense plane continues its refinement in the upper room, which is indeed a progression of dismantling and remaking and reseeing and re-knowing and reclaiming all things in the divine, your experience of form and time itself becomes softer, less defined, just as the bodies you take on a different tone and a less dense agreement to be. Now, what that means is you are still here, but you are other than you are. Things still have form, but the form you have taken actually holds light, less density, and more agreement to the divine that is all present. The strata of vibration in the higher template, which has been constructed and is present and is available, is aligning you to itself at this level. You are not fixing, you are not striving, you are aligning to what is. And the claim we have offered you prior, God is, God is, God is a reconciliation with this awareness.
Mm.
As I'm reading this passage, I know the words are coming in, and this I've read this passage before. As I'm reading it with you all today, what I'm having the experience of and really being taken into memory is of swimming with jellyfish. And one of the things that we did when I was in college was go to the beach because it was right there at Southampton. And there was this experience of swimming with jellyfish. It was a birthing of baby jellyfish, and so it was like literally swimming through a thick tub of jelly. But
Oh.
as I'm reading, what I'm reminded of is swimming in those jellyfish and being so afraid of being stung. And someone said to me, they're not going to sting you. And the fear went down. And suddenly it wasn't, there was no fear. There was no swimming in jellyfish. There was just swimming. And I didn't get stung, but it became like swimming as though they weren't there because suddenly there was nothing to be afraid of. And that's kind of how we've been having this current experience of this lessening of density as fear falls further and further away. And when I say the fear falls away, as we are no longer navigating using fear as our navigational tool um, to see through our navigational lens.
Mm.
So
Thank you for that. That's actually a really great description. Yeah, I appreciate that. Wow, the jellyfish. Mm.
that was one of the most extraordinary experiences
I can believe it.
until they got
Especially
in
if
the
it
bathing suit.
if it was at night and they were all illuminated. Can you imagine?
And that's part of what we would do. We go to bars and then we would go down to swim with the jellyfish in the evening.
Mm.
Yeah, at night.
Wow. Thank you. William.
Well, I just am so struck by my imagery of the shadow because what I'm seeing is that that shadow is the result of my thoughts, my mind. It's that language, whatever it is. And sometimes it's really so distinct. And other times the light changes and there's no shadow. And that seems to be, there's no thought. It's just now. And then when I look at other people, I see their shadows. And then I see someone, oh, where's their shadow? My goodness. And I play with the shadows. It's like that's the world I live in. The thoughts about. And it feels so free when the light comes, unbeknownst. And wait a minute, where'd the shadow go? It's just now. Oh my gosh. And then the whole room seems gets lit up. Everybody. I don't pay attention to their shadows or their words. It's just more words, more story, more explanation. That's okay. They have a shadow or whatever they call it. I got shadow. These are my words. And this is the way I project onto life. And I just play the game called Shadows, everybody. But it's really me just in my own shadows. And it feels so comforting. Wow, I feel such freedom even now talking about it because it's it's really due to the light in me or not. So I think it's just so free. So
Mm.
and I feel so one with everyone. It doesn't matter what their shadows are, their language or their explanation or the words. It's like we all have our own language. That's okay. We all have our own shadow. It's very unique to what my journey is.
Mm. Thank you for that, William. Yeah. Hmm. It's interesting. I'm also remembering what you just did was in a way was paint a picture for me. But it's not a picture I can grab a hold of. Just it's just these sort of vague images. Thank you.
And it makes me think, Amy, of your dream. Wow, where'd that image come from?
Yeah.
Is that me? Is that my shadow? Oh, wow. Wait a minute. Let me think. And I go into my shadow.
Yeah. I mean, whatever it was in the dream that was another person that was me, I could never have imagined that person. That person had form and identity and detail that I could never ever have dreamed up in this waking mind. So yeah, came from another place. Okay, I'm going to read now, and then after I read, someone else can volunteer. Now, later in this text, we will work with God as an idea, and the idea of template, the one that exists now, as having been constructed through lies that you have abided by, be it the punishing God or the God named this or that, that has its own mandates for your behaviors, its own rituals to abide by. We don't deny these gods. We move to the God that expresses with and beyond. Underline those two words, and beyond. The God beyond, the God beyond your idea of God, the best the small self could imagine. We are preparing you for those teachings, which will be the second half of this text, and the teachings we are bringing you now. And with the teachings we are bringing you now. As we call you to union, we wish you to understand the landscape that you exist in and what exists beyond it, and give you an experience of those things. When you leave the house today, when you walk outside today, please understand that everything you see has a name, and every name that's been given has been given by someone that was agreed upon by another, and it became part of the language of a culture. In any language, there is a name for table or sky. When you move beyond the name, you see the tree outside or the windowsill outside. Beyond the name it was given, you can begin the deconstruction and realize that the source of the windowsill and the tree are equal. They are just operating in different forms, the source of all things. When you understand that the eyes that see, perceive, and equate what a vision is, windowsill or tree or landscape, and you understand that those ideas are also a depiction of source, a creation of source, you can understand that there is an equivalency in perception and the things seen. You are in relationship with the things seen at the level of tone that you have come to know. When you understand that the eyes that see are the eyes of the divine, and you allow them to express without the fear or judgment that was accrued in the lower field, your sight begins to alter. You will see the energetic fields of the windowsill, of the tree, of the human before you. You will see the sunset as an explosion of light, lifting or sinking or changing the landscape that surrounds it. You will see the world in a new way, and you are restoring your sight to what exists. Okay, I'm just going to stop right there. So in the beginning, when I asked the question, what is it what does it feel like for each of us to experience the change in the body, or that have been talking about, the guides have been talking about. And this is a direct example that he's suggesting we all might share. Not necessarily. Jonathan Ashford, who we're going to listen to for next Thursday or the Thursday after, talks about seeing orbs, enormous human-size orbs, and he sees them all the time now. And there are people that see orbs around and light sometimes. In fact, William, sometimes when you are sitting in your office, I don't know what it is, but there are orbs of light that float across your field.
And I'm so struck with this, what I've been sharing this morning, because I'm seeing light and shadow, light and shadow. It's just kind of transforming everything, projecting it, whatever. The shadow is never the same. It keeps shifting based on whatever that language is that's going on, creating shadow. More explanations. And it's like so much easier to accept other people with whatever their shadows are. I don't have to understand their language, whether it's Chinese or Japanese or English. I don't have to know that. We all have our own shadow of projecting our thoughts. And I just like calling it shadow. And I look at this and restoring your sight to what exists. Oh, yeah. In the as when the light becomes so bright, you know what? In the now, there is no shadow. It's just now.
Thank you, William. Okay. Are you complete, William?
Yes, ma'am. I tell you, I'm just going to enjoy it. It's like I'm hugging my shadow. At the same time, there is no shadow. Wow. I didn't know that really.
Thank you. You know, I don't really know exactly what you just said, William, but the way that you just said it just opens my heart.
And that's what I feel about this space here. When I see a head nod, I don't know what they're nodding at, but I feel connection, 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 and we're all together. Doesn't matter what our images are, our explanation. I don't care. I don't care. But the laughter knows.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, the joy. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Alka and then Lonnie.
Good morning. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I was also going to say the same thing, that I don't know exactly what you mean, William, but it was fun listening to you. But okay. I was just an experience I had. I was listening to the guides and I was lying on the sofa, my eyes totally unfocused. They were not focused on anything. And I was listening to the guides, and then suddenly I closed my eyes and I saw the light that I was surrounded with. It was an amazing experience because in a meditative state, I can see other people's, but I've never seen mine. So that was quite an experience. Of course, I tried to repeat it, which was silly and didn't happen again. So just wanted to say that for the moment. That's all.
Wow. Thank you so much. Thank you, Alka. Isn't it amazing how when you close your eyes, there is inner vision? I love that. And I think a lot of times we don't pay attention to it because we think it's not real because our eyes are closed, right? Yeah, Lonnie's shaking her head. Yeah, Lonnie, what have you got?
We've been taught that there's nothing in there to look outside for everything we want to know.
That's right.
But when you were talking to William, what lit up in my system was its willingness. It's willingness to drop what you think you know and to stop trying to see anything that allows you to see the purity of the energy that flows through and around that being that is William. Especially when his vibration is so high and so intense. And so when we're not trying to figure it out or do anything with it other than allow it, we get to truly see it. But it's, those who are able to and willing to see can see all that is possible.
That's exactly right. I mean, what comes out of William is this joy and this willingness, um, this desire to share, you know, this 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 wanting to connect, here's this idea I have and this experience I had, and I just want to give it to you all, and I'm giving it to you, and I just love that. It's it's
And
it's
every time he speaks, my system lights up because it's not from a hunger of lacking, which is so different.
That's right. That's right. Thank you. Thank you.
Hey,
Really?
can I just quick like say is that because I spend so much time lacking, and then when I bust free, it's like, oh my goodness, the light. I don't see the shadow, I see nothing. I'm here. And I have that enthusiasm, I have that energy, and then I go and hide, and oh, I don't fit in at all. I don't even belong here. You all are so whatever, whatever, whatever. I'm so dark shadow. Anyway, and it's just I like it when I break free. It's
That
like,
is the true self. That's the true self.
And
And
we
that's
all
why
just
we
are.
love it. That's why we love seeing it, because it's our true self too.
We all just are as you just are. It's what I said a long time ago, I've done away with adjectives and all of that other crap because it gets me all messed up. But you just are as we are.
That is exactly right. Thank you. Okay. I'm going to ask William to read because you're next on my, and there's the light. Did everybody see that? The light just went right across. Okay. William, you're going to have to unmute, and we're at the last sentence on the bottom of page 83. Now,
okay,
when
Before
you,
you
yeah,
read,
yeah,
William, Amy, I have to say this out loud to you. Do not expect the agreement. What you see is what you see because you can see. You don't need anybody else to see it or agree with you. It's important to
yeah.
know and trust what the divine is letting you see.
And that's so. I thank you for saying that because it's like it's my shadow. Don't try to take it away or change it or fix it. It's my shadow. I deserve it. I claim it. Leave me alone. So, but let's play while we're doing it. Okay. Okay. I'll read. I'll be quiet. Here we go. Now, ready?
ready?
Okay. Now, when you operate beyond time and you are not segmenting experience, but allowing things to be, you become receptive at this level. To be receptive at this level is to be informed by what you see, informed by the windowsill, by the tree, by the sunset, whatever. When you are informed by something, you, oh, I love this. You are allowing it to be. And when you understand that the sunset, the tree, the windowsill are all of God, expressions of God, you move into union with them. Now, the same is true for all thought, all idea. When you realize God as mind, oh yes, the mind of God expressing through you, not at a personality level, but at a higher level that is already in unification, selfishness disappears. Hallelujah. If you are operating in selfishness, you are operating in separation. If you are denying the divine in your brother, you have denied the divine in everyone. Oh man, let's just resonate in that. That's wonderful. That's just from inside out. Wow. That's like I look at each figure in this screen and it's something you've said, done, smiled, every one of you. Yeah. It's just wonderful. Thank you for asking me. I like that. Thank you.
Do you want to read through the whole page?
Well, I can keep going, sure. Well, how do we do that? He asked. We are in difficult times. There are difficult personalities. There are difficult choices being made that may impact all of us. You understand, Paul, that the vision from the upper room does not hold villains, does not hold demons, but it reclaims all those things in a higher order that can be justified through a renunciation of prior deed or prior claim. The idea of redemption, the monad, or the divine self as redeemer, has been discussed in prior texts. You can call Christ redeemer, and it is a true statement. When you decide someone is beyond redemption, you have damned them, and you have damned yourself as well. If it is too hard for you to lift to this through the idea of self that you perpetuate in separation, please offer it to God, the God within you, because it is not too great for God.
That's like offering it to the Holy Spirit, isn't it? It's very much a Course in Miracles.
Yeah. And even right now, as I just be slow down, slow down, slow down, I feel so much connection with every one of you.
Thank you. Why don't you read, William, if you would, to the top of page 85, and then we'll end for the day.
Okay. Each of you before us today, each of you who hears these words or even reads these words is being called forward to a new claim. I am free of an idea of self that seeks to damn my neighbor. I am free of an idea of self that operates through separation. And I am free of a belief in self that is the only God. We know who you are. We know what you are, and we know how you serve. And we are ushering you forward now to the highest agreements you can make as you say yes to your own benefit and and to the benefit that comes with all that you encounter. Blessings to each of you. Stop now, please. Yes, this is in the text. Period, period, period.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, I'm going to open it up for comments and turn it over to Cindy, and thank everybody for showing up today. Alka.
Oh, sorry. It's really, really, really strange when William was reading, I'm free of an idea of that self that seeks to damn my neighbor. Was what I thought, it's not even what passed through my mind or thought or anything. It was like, I don't even know what it was, but it was like, I'm afraid of the idea of self that seeks to damn my neighbor. I'm afraid of an idea that of self that operates through separation. The word I am free, instead it kept replacing it with I am afraid for some reason. It was, and I had to read it 3 times to realize that that's not what they were saying. Just I had to say that.
Thank you for that. Wow. Yeah, that's interesting. Thank you, Alka. Richard. I don't want to dismiss what Alka just said though, because that was really something.
In the annihilated self, it says that when you're at that place, you're right at the edge of kind of clearing out your that fog of thoughts, that you're really moving closer and closer into being free of self, because of that replacement that was coming in, that you can trust it.
And when I embrace whatever that feeling is and love it too, that's so freeing.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for that. Thank you, Alka. We could probably spend an hour talking about that. Richard, you're up next.
I have a question that's not related to what you were talking about or the day's message. You mentioned John Ashford's video for next week. I'm assuming that's Thursday, and my question is, there were there are multiple videos with him, and I love them all, but I wonder what episode you're actually recommending we watch and discuss.
This is a video with what is her name? A woman who interviews a lot of people that have near-death experiences. And it's a good interview because it really describes his initial experience, Richard. So it's an introductory video. And then you can, Tesh is her last name. It's about an hour long, and it just gives you a good introduction to his experience and who he is. But you're absolutely right. There are many more. In fact, I've been watching a few of them and thought, God, we should watch these too. So if you have a video that you think we should watch, send it to Cindy, and
Yeah.
we can.
Except Amy, the video, I put it in the chat, and let me stop the record button.
Okay.
Everybody, what you sent me is only about